Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, August 27th, 2019. And you're listening to Arnie and Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports at 9 a.m. this morning. So I'm an hour early, not a dollar late. And we've got a lot of ground to plow. So let's get started. Let's talk about the wild card race in the American League because the division races, not too exciting right now. Maybe Minnesota, Cleveland holds some interest. Twins have won 2 in a row and won 7 out of 10. Meanwhile, Cleveland's has only won 4 out of 10. And they play in Detroit today. But here's the wild card setup, guys, in the American League. Look at this morning. Cleveland, 76-55. Oakland, 75-55. And Tampa, 76-56. What does that say? That says there are 3 teams, 2 spots, and they're all within a half game of each other. Where do they play today? Cleveland's in Detroit. Oakland's in Kansas City. Tampa Bay is in Houston, taking on the Astros. What a race it's going to be. And I want to pause for just a moment and talk about the swinging A's. Did you guys watch any of that game last night between Oakland and Kansas City? Because if you like offense and you miss that game, then you're kicking yourself this morning. And I want to talk about a few players on Oakland's team, not just look at the box scores, but talk about a few players on their team. And let's start with their leadoff hitter, Marcus Semien. What's he doing? Well, last night he led off. He went 2 for 6. He hit a triple, his 6th of the year, if that matters in fantasy scoring to you. He hit his 23rd home run last night, and he drove in 7 RBIs on the night last night against Kansas City. Good morning, Phil Chaplin. It's good to see you in the chat room this morning, along with some others, including DK Lush. I see he's in the chat room. Corona Cyclones, Devic DeBizzle, Timothy Hooker, Andrea. It's good to see all of you guys. There'll be more coming in a few minutes, I am sure. But we're not going to stop the show. We're going to talk about Marcus Semien and his 273 average on the year, his 94 runs scored, his 23 home runs, his 69 RBIs, and his 7 stolen bases. Wow. During the month of August, he's hitting over 290. He's 24 for 86. He has 17 RBIs in August. And in that leadoff spot, he's lethal right now for the A's. Matt Chapman last night, he hit his 30th home run for Oakland. 30 home runs for Chapman. And now he's got, let's see, I'm looking here. Chapman has 74 RBIs on the year to go with those 30 home runs. 84 runs scored. And he plays a killer third base. How about last night just looking down the box score order, Matt Olson went 3 for 4. And Olson missed over a month with that broken hamate bone. Yet you look at his numbers, 264 average, 26 homers, 66 RBIs. Just imagine those numbers if you put another month of play on Matt Olson. What would he have? Easily 30 home runs, probably 80 RBIs at a minimum. Then you've got Mark Canha. The beat goes on. I mean, it's like Oakland playing softball last night. Did you even see Alex Gordon? He pitched. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But Canha went 3 for 6. He was 3 for his first 3. Then got out 3 times in a row. But over his last 4 games, he's had, you ready for this? 18 at-bats, 9 hits. So that's pretty easy math, right? He's batting .500 over his last 4 games with 3 homers, 5 RBIs, 5 runs scored. And remember, Oakland has a player named Laureano who had over 20 home runs when he went on the IL, coming back really soon to go along with the crowd I'm already talking about. How about the rookie last night, Brown? Played in his first game, Seth Brown. He goes 2 for 6. Drives in his first run. Chris Davis with a K, 3 for 5. 2 RBIs. Davis hit his 19th home run last night. Josh Fagley, 4 for 5, 3 RBIs. I'm just telling you, you look at these scores, you look at those box scores, you look at those lines. Oakland, I've said, is my favorite of the 3 wild card teams. Tampa Bay is my second choice, and I've got Cleveland going out. I said it yesterday, I'll say it again today. I've got Cleveland going out. Homer Bailey last night for Oakland. Talk about a scrap heap reclamation project. I guess I'm one too, huh? Homer Bailey improves to 12-8 on the year. He went 6 innings, a quality start, 3 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, no walks, as the A's totally obliterate Kansas City in Kansas City. Incredible game. The Kansas City pitching, Keller only made it into the second, gave up 5 earned runs. Lopez finished the third. He gave up 5 more runs. So Oakland had 10 runs by the end of the third inning. But they weren't done. By the end of the 5th inning, they had 15 runs. And then they tack on 4 more just for good measure. The Oakland A's. And what are they going to do with this Seth Brown kid? First baseman, outfielder. Laureano going to come off the IL. There's not enough place for everyone. Laureano's going to play. So who sits? Is it Chris Davis? Now, trying, I guess, to heat up here late in the season, Davis did hit his 19th homer. Seth Brown seems to me to be the easy one to replace. But he was killing it at AAA. And Oakland, as I told you yesterday, they're bringing up Luzardo. Sean Manaea's coming up. They're going to add 2 quality left-handed arms to a rotation on a team that's 20 games above 500 and has an exemplary bullpen. So, fantasy-wise, Simeon, Cana, Seth Brown. If you got these guys, you got some deals. Luzardo, Manaea, are you stashing them? If not, it's time to do so. Because Oakland's for real. Let's talk about the National League and the standings there. And I see some gap opening up. Atlanta still leads Washington by 5.5. Today, Atlanta's at Toronto. They lost in Colorado yesterday 3-1. Did you see the play at the plate with Freddie Freeman sliding home? They review the play. Freeman looked safe to me in every angle they showed it. They called him out. Big turn in the game because we go to the bottom of the 9th. And we get to the bottom of the 9th. McMahon comes up, hits a walk-off line shot home run, winning the game for Colorado 3-1. So Atlanta falls there. They go to Toronto today. Washington is home against Baltimore. You gotta love that lineup, right? In the National League Central, St. Louis leads the Cubs by 3, Milwaukee by 5.5. St. Louis pummels the Brewers last night, 12-2. In that game, they not only pummel the Brewers, Moustakas had a line drive hit by Harrison Bader off of his wrist. He came out of the game. X-rays were negative. So Moustakas will not play today, fantasy owners, if you set daily lineups. but they don't expect him to miss maybe more than today. And that's great news for people like me who own Moustakas, right? We don't want him out. He's had a great year. 31 homers. But the problem with Milwaukee is not hitting. It was last night, but the pitching. I watched the game. Gio Gonzalez looks like me up there, throwing the ball like Nerf ball. 5 innings, 7 earned runs. It was obvious he did not want to throw a strike. He walked 4. He did strike out 5, but he was not in control. The bullpen wasn't either. Wainwright only made it through 3 2/3, giving up 2 earned runs, walked 3. Gant goes to 9-0, the reliever, comes in the 4th, pitches through the 6th, 2 1/3, struck out 3. The bullpen held serve from there. Leon, Miller, and Seamart. But the Cardinal bats last night. Fowler, 2 for 5. This rookie, Edman, hitting .285, went 3 for 6. Ozuna went 2 for 3. DeJong homered, went 1 for 2 with 3 RBIs. Molina, 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Bader, 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. They scored 12 runs. There had to be a lot of RBIs, right? Molina hit his 5th homer. DeJong, as I said, hit his 24th. DeJong has 64 RBIs on the year. Ozuna has 77. It missed a lot of time. I'm liking where I see the Cardinals. The Brewers, I could see fading. It's up to what will the Cubs do. Now today, St. Louis continues playing in Milwaukee at Miller Park. The Cubs are in Flushing, New York, taking on the Mets. The National League West was over before it started. The Dodgers running away with it. As we look at the wild card this morning in the National League, Washington leads the first wild card by 4 full games. Again, had the day off yesterday. Sort of like having the day off today. They're playing the Orioles for 3, right? And Scherzer pitches tomorrow. So you gotta love Washington's spot. And remember, there are only 32 games left in this season. Bigelow on the prowl. Good morning. Good to see you in the chat room this morning. Bigelow on the prowl. Corona Cyclonus. DK Luce. Doug Boyle. Great show, Doug. Vic DeBizzle. Phil Chaplin. Timothy Hooker. We're adding the numbers up as we continue on with the show. I'm looking in the chat room this morning. If you want to add in, we're going to talk more than just stats this morning. Trends and things like that. The Cubs in the second wild card in the National League lead the Phillies by 1 game, the Mets by 2. Let's stop right there because I see Milwaukee and Arizona and San Francisco, but I see some fading there. The Mets, Phillies, Cubs fighting for that second wild card right now. And they're all within 2 games of one another. Now, Milwaukee's only 2.5 out. But do you really feel good about Milwaukee's pitching? I don't at all. Hauser goes today. He pitched great the last time out. We'll take a look at him. Hauser's got to come up big for Milwaukee to have a chance to make this wild card run. Okay, Melville pitched for Colorado yesterday in that Atlanta game. That was a 3:05 game, a makeup game. He went 5 innings, no earned runs, 6 strikeouts. Looked pretty good, fantasy owners, if you're needing some pitching. I know he's in Colorado, but hey, he shut down a Braves lineup, and that's a pretty potent lineup. Acuna went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Albies 1 for 3, and Freeman 0 for 3, and Donaldson 0 for 4. So you're looking at a collective 1 for 14. Acuna, Albies, Freeman, and Donaldson yesterday. Teheran pitched pretty well for Atlanta. 6 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, struck out 4. Blevins gave up that homer. He wasn't the loser. Swarzak, the losing pitcher. But Blevins gives up the home run, the walk-off to McMahon, who hit his 18th with 1 on and 1 out to win the game for the Rockies. It was an abbreviated schedule yesterday. Pittsburgh was in Philadelphia, another walk-off kind of game, if you were watching it. Former Pirate Sean Rodriguez came up to bat in the 11th inning, and hit a walk-off home run down the left field line, a line drive. The Phillies win. Realmuto went 3 for 5. Dickerson 1 for 4. For Pittsburgh, Newman in the leadoff spot against righties and lefties goes 2 for 6. Again yesterday, hitting really well in that leadoff spot. He's at 303 for the year. Reynolds went 2 for 5 for Pittsburgh. He's at 329 on the year. Musgrove pitched well. Went 6 innings, 2 earned runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts. Liriano got a hold, pitching a perfect 7th. But Rodriguez blew the save, his 4th, giving up 3 runs in the 8th inning. Feliz gets the loss, giving up that walk-off home run to Rodriguez in the 11th. Vargas pitched for the Phillies, 6 innings, 4 earned runs. Neris blew a save, his 5th blown of the year. And Moran pitched 2 innings, shutout innings, to get the win for the Phillies. Cincinnati in Miami, they win 6-3 last night. Sonny Gray, did you watch any of the game? Sonny Gray, Phil Chaplin says Rodriguez is a dirtbag. He may be a dirtbag, Chappie, but he beat his former team last night with a walk-off. And it seems like there wasn't that long ago when I was watching Rodriguez, he'd pinch hit for Pittsburgh. By gosh, he'd hit a home run every time he came up. Well, he did it again last night for Philadelphia. Cincinnati, did you watch Sonny Gray as he improved to 10-6? 6 innings, 2 earned, 6 strikeouts. That ball has some life to it coming out of his hand. And why the Yankees couldn't harness that, I have no idea. A bust in New York, a prize in Cincinnati. Lorenzen gets his 17th hold. The Reds break a losing streak. Van Meter was the leadoff hitter last night. He tripled. Galvis, what about Freddie Galvis? Are you guys loving the year Freddie Galvis is having? And if you tell me you drafted him, I'm going to say you're telling something that's not true. I'll come short of calling you a liar. But look what he's doing. He's hitting .280 on the year. Last night he hit his 22nd home run. Yeah. He's got 65 RBIs, if you're into that kind of thing. 3 for 5, 4 RBIs on the game. Suarez went 2 for 4, hit his, how many now? 36 home runs. He's got 80 RBIs on the season. Phillip Ervin comes off the bench, hit his 4th homer. Nick Senzel went 2 for 3. The Reds have the makings of a good team. They just aren't going to be relevant the rest of this year. You know, they had this big run differential positive number in July, and it has shrunk to single digits here in late August. But I really like the Reds team. And I like to see what they're going to be like in 2020. Now, Miami, any highlights? Well, not really. Lewis Brinson did hit a triple. Lopez pitched 5 innings, 4 earned runs. Not a lot to talk about from the Miami side last night. Arizona playing San Francisco. Diamondbacks win 6-4. Escobar 2 for 5. Flores 3 for 4. For San Francisco, I was watching for this Solano kid who had gone 4 for 4. I thought about picking him up yesterday, and I thought, no. And I'm glad I didn't. He went 0 for 4 last night. Slater went 0 for 3. Longoria's hitting pretty decent. I'm not really excited about him. 2 for 4. Crawford went 3 for 4. We're going to talk a little bit about Brandon Crawford later in the show. Remember last night he went 3 for 4. And a lefty, Young, was starting for the Diamondbacks. Young got the win. He went 5 1/3, gave up 1 earned run and 4 strikeouts, beating the loss. He's now 3-8, but he only gave up 1 earned run in 5 2/3 innings, walking none and striking out 4. The Dodgers took on San Diego. Manny Machado, ground out game-winning RBI, if you want to call it that. Dodger bats. Pollock 0 for 5, Muncy 0 for 3, Bellinger 0 for 3, Smith 0 for 4, Taylor 0 for 4. What does all this possibly mean? Well, good thing you asked. Or maybe you didn't ask, but it's a good thing I'm going to tell you. Chaplain says Galvis pickup. Can't quite make it out. McNeil is healthy. I can't bring myself to sit Galvis. I agree. I don't know how you can sit Freddie Galvis. And I don't know what your team construction is, Chaplain, but the good thing about McNeil is he can play multiple positions. But how do you put Freddie Galvis on a bench? I just don't see it. And 22 homers? Whoever saw that coming? Jack Youngblood, did you see it coming? And you're typing as I speak. I'm waiting for, the tension is building, the drama is there. Jack Youngblood says, I picked up Galvis earlier in the season. You were one fortunate picker, is what I can say. But I was talking about Pollock 0 for 5, Muncy 0 for 3, Bellinger 0 for 3, Taylor 0 for 4. Now reading this came off yesterday. A mixture between Ken Rosenthal and MLB among the top prospects who could be summoned to the big leagues in September is Dodgers shortstop